Recording in progress.
We got to go to Washington, D.C. this weekend for our Gold School, and it was super fun. Um, if you've been to a Plexus event, you know how amazing it is that they roll out the red carpet no matter what the circumstance is. So, of course, the food was amazing. Always good to connect with other people. I always love meeting people, and it was so funny. We sat at a table with girls who were from um like the Virginia border, but like right there at West Virginia. So it was kind of wild that we were there with like people from like just a few hours, like maybe an hour and a half from where I live. So that was super fun. But before we get started with like the whole training, I'm going to let Liz hop on and share a takeaway from this weekend. And then Candace will share her takeaway too. So take it away, Liz.
Hey guys. I'm used to being on mute here, so this is going to be kind of different for me. Okay, so I had so many takeaways. Like honestly, like if you could see, like you can't even see like all the notes that I was writing. Like Brianna and I are both we were just like writing, and I kept looking at her paper. I'm like, what did you write down for that one? You know, because we were both just writing so much. But really, what I loved, I had never heard Jen Haskins speak ever. And I felt like when she was talking that not that I related to her, but I just really liked the way she was, I liked the way she spoke actually. But she was very relatable, and she had so many great things that she talked about. Like she was basically talking most about how we need to treat the business like as a people business and not like selling, and more just, as sharing. And she kind of hit a lot of things. Like she talked a lot about the fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And we had to write down like if we were fixed mindset or growth mindset. And I kept saying to Leslie and Brianna, I was like, I need one in the middle, because I'm not like either way. There was nothing in the middle. And so I kind of was like, okay, I have a lot of work to do because I'm not at that growth mindset yet. But then she also was talking about reactive leaders and proactive leaders. And I was like, again, I'm like, I need one in the middle, because I feel like I'm on my way, but I'm just not there yet. But she was saying how it takes 60 days to create a habit. And so she was saying that she wanted everybody to go all in 60 days and do everything that we need to do for 60 days. And she's like, you can't say the wrong thing to the right people. And more or less taking like, the thing that I thought was huge was she was saying, recognize a lie and replace it with the truth. And there's, whenever we say we can't do something like, or I can't do that, or I'm not good at that, then that's a lie. And so she's saying, no, you need to replace it with the truth. You need to say, I may not be able to do that yet, but I'm on my way, and I'm working there. So that was huge for me, like more or less like just, I think I have a lot of lies that I need to replace with truths. And so I was taking a lot of those notes. But there was a couple things that she said. He talked about how people are going to not necessarily listen to you, and how you're going to have the naysayers, and you're going to have the people that say no, and how they hurt your feelings. And, we just need to kind of move on. And she was basically saying you need to have the faith, and you need to actually know what you have your hands on. And she was saying that she knows that she had her hands on something, and she had a vision. She knew her why, and she was going after her why, and she had her vision. And all of the naysayers and all the people that were saying all this, she's like, that's okay. They can say what they want to say. She's like, because I had my vision and I had my eyes set on a goal. And she said, I know what I bring to the table, so I'm not afraid to eat alone. And I was like, that's big, that's huge. And then Brianna actually sent me another video yesterday, and she said it again, and she didn't take credit for it. She said that she actually learned it from somebody else. But so that was huge with me. And I'm trying to think of what else. Basically saying how we need to actually really know how we can empower people, and how we can have them do this with you and just empower them, and not necessarily say, I need to get another level 1. I need to have my downline get another level 1. Like it's not about the numbers, but it's actually the people over the points. And so there was so many things that I wrote down that I should just type up and then just send it to you guys, because there was so much stuff. But those were like really, really big. And and another thing was said was, will July me like what April me did? And I was like, I have a lot of months of me that don't like what the previous months of me did. But so basically, like, go after things now and work your business now. So that way, July you is very proud of what you did in May and stuff. So those are my big takeaways. But I'm sure Candace has others too, but or Brianna or Leslie. But
Yeah, I loved that point because when she said, I kept saying yes to everything. And she was like, I kept saying yes to way too much. And then it was like, is the April Jen gonna be happy when this is happening in June that I said yes to this? So it was like
Mhm.
being aware of the time and how what you're saying yes to. You
Right.
don't have to say yes to everything. All right, Candace.
So I second everything Liz said, basically piggybacking up off of her, a lot of points taken away from going to Gold School. And I'm sure that some of you may be able to relate to me personally because I am somebody that is inconsistent with both the business and the products, but I'm here to stay. And so my takeaway from Gold School, and ladies, you might have to help me remember what the title was, like the 7 steps to success. Okay, so that was my biggest takeaway because if you are somebody like me, I get very overwhelmed and I can't handle the mental load that sometimes a business can have. And when you treat this like a business, there are certain steps and things that you have to do to meet your success that you want to have. Like Liz said, is your April you going to be happy with your January you or whatever? So my biggest takeaway, if we can share the 7 steps to success, I don't have my book in front of me, but we broke down by time what it takes to do each day to run your business. And that really resonated with me because I feel overwhelmed when I am sitting down for 2 hours to do my business. When that is not what needs to happen, I can do 15 minutes of something in the morning. I can do 15 minutes of something else at lunchtime. I can do 20 minutes of something else at another time, like during a child's basketball practice or any other time in the day. Going over it bit by bit throughout the day would be much easier for someone like me than it is for somebody else who might be able to sustain an hour or two working their business every day or every other day. So that was what resonated with me, breaking it down by time. And it's so funny because it sounds so easy and simple to do, but I needed somebody else to tell me that and also to show me what it was. So our like handy dandy booklet that we got to keep was super helpful. So if you ever get a chance to go to Gold School, they give you good stuff.
Perfect.
Yes, and they talked about it's not about perfection, but about dedication. And so that's kind of, with what Candace was saying.
Yes. And I love that because I loved the 7 steps and I love the winning day. And I know that we talked about the winning day like a few months ago. And like, I really want to like bring it back and show you how Genevieve broke it down because it is so good how I guess, when you sat down and you've been in this business for so long, we overcomplicate things. But the Gold School is really about getting to basics and learning how to do those basics well and then duplicate them. So senior golds and golds get to go to Gold School. So if you're gold and you're like, man, I missed my opportunity, you can go senior gold and still get to go to Gold School. You can go ruby and senior ruby and go to rubies on the rise. So these should all be your goals to hit to attend these events. And like for myself, one, it was not convenient for me to be there this weekend. And it was not, like I say, a very cheap trip for me to take, but it was a trip that I knew I needed personally to one, be in a room full of excited golds. Like, you know how amazing that is to be around people who are new and fresh in the business. And guys, Celeste Gwynn was there. Like, if you don't know who Celeste Gwynn is, I know some of them were like, didn't really know who she was, but she's like the grandma of our business. And she like really took time to be at Gold School, and she's like a 12-star diamond or whatever. So it's really just continually investing in your business and being willing to make that time sacrifice to take those trips and be there for your business. And so, and I know Leslie posted about that last night too, but we are going to try our best to really make it as simple as we can for you.
But and I was going to say with Celeste, like what I loved the most is that she wasn't there as a trainer or a speaker. She was there because she developed a gold. Like still in her like bazillion dollars that she makes a month, she still developed a gold. Like that blows me away because like she doesn't have to do anything at this point, but she sees the power of the business and the power of sharing it and the power of what she can do to help other people. So she was there as like, just like me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that in and of itself was amazing to me.
I agree. And that's something that we like, I guess should really consider, like that she is still out there developing golds. She's still out there recruiting, working her business, doing the things, right? So keep that in mind too. So tonight, like we are just going to break down Gold School. And so Liz covered it pretty much about the mindset, but Jen Hawkins really nailed the mindset talk. And she was like, I'm just going to put the book down. I'm going away from like the script, so to say. And sorry. And she's like, I'm really going to just talk to you like person to person, mom to mom. And she shared stories about her vision and where she was in her life when she started her business, which was really, it just resonated, I think, with a lot in the room. And so she was just like, first of all, gold is where your business becomes a business and you are no longer working this as a hobby. This is where you have to learn how to manage your mind, manage your thoughts, and put in the action. And she talked about manifesting what you want with your positive thoughts, and just setting yourself up. She talked about time management and how she was pregnant when she started the business. And so she was chasing toddlers and she was, pregnant, and it was an adjustment for her, but she was willing to make it because she saw what was happening and she caught the vision. And I have to point out that she even said, Celeste didn't just say, hey, like, I want you to do this with me. She was like, here's my computer. Here's the link. This is what you're doing. And it was just like, she said, it was the confidence that Celeste Gwynn had that really made a difference in like her belief and her vision. And so she talked about remembering her why and watching it evolve. And so it's nice to like look back, but it's also great to continue to look forward. Like I started this business to pay for groceries, to put gas in my car, to pay for gymnastics. But as my why evolves, look what it's going to pay for now. Look what I can do now with the income. Who can I bless? Who am I impacting? And so to watch your why evolve, I think is really just important for us to really keep a grasp and a hold of. So Leslie's going to tell you about the types of posts. Guys, like when Genevieve talks, you know how she is. She was hilarious with her analogies this weekend. I've never like heard some of the things like come out of her mouth, but she was like killing it and it just resonated so much with me. So go ahead, Leslie.
It was. She's amazing. Like I could listen to her talk. The time that she talked, and she talked for a good portion of the day, like it just flew by because everything she was saying was so relevant and so applicable. And it was something that you could take and just put into action right there. But she says it in such a funny and relatable way that you're like, oh, I've been that person, or, oh, I've done that, or I've been the weirdo. Like how many times she was like, don't be weird. Like, don't do it. Don't be that person. And I'm like, oh, I've definitely been that person. Like, but she's just so funny. And I love that how she put so much into perspective about just social media. And I know we've done a lot of training on social media, but we looked at different posts and she really had us think like, read this post. Who is this posting to? You should be able to tell in the post exactly pinpoint who it is geared towards, who it is for, because that's how your posting should be. And she really brought up a lot. She was like, it's not about bragging about yourself. It's not about bragging like, oh, look at me, I've got it all together, I'm the perfect person now, Plexus made me perfect and there's nothing wrong with me, because then you're not relatable. So she really talked about alternating your posts between 3 different things, either being inspirational, educational, or humorous. And a lot of these, especially the humorous ones, I hadn't thought about doing in posts, but the way that she had worded it, and we'll talk a little bit about it, it just made so much more sense. It made you so much more relatable as a person and can create so many conversations from these types of posts. So inspirational ones are when you're going to kind of focus on you as a person and kind of how you can inspire others. Her examples were like, you could post a picture of you playing with your kids and make a post about how like momming isn't always easy, but you've got this and you're doing a great job. Something like that, or put an inspiration in there about being a mom and a parent and have just a picture of you and your kids. So it's something that doesn't always have to be Plexus focused or doesn't always have to be something so overly thought out. It's your day-to-day life. You're outside playing with your kids, you're snapping a picture, you're inside cooking dinner and your kids are there with you. You can create, that's inspiration. You have the picture there. It's just your day-to-day life. And it's just creating some inspiration so that other moms or other parents or working parents can see that you are a real human and it's relatable. Those educational posts are things where you're talking about kind of like, I guess you would say like your niche a little bit, because it's talking about your safety tips or your cooking tips, your recipes, your things that you're doing with your kids, those types of things, games that you've created, all of that kind of thing. Her example was, and she was like, this is super relevant right now. If you've got older kids, high school kids, they're getting ready for prom, you could create weeks of posts on like what to do, how to budget for prom, things they need to budget for, how to be safe for prom, what to talk about with rides and ride sharing and things to do and photographers and all of that type of stuff you can put in and be, again, relatable, but you're providing education. It all goes back to, though, making sure that you're posting to that person. Somebody that's reading that prom post, you're not posting to a mom with toddlers, you're relating to the mom who's got kids in middle school and high school and the exhaustion of trying to keep up with all of their school activities. So you want to know who you're posting to, and that's how you're gearing your posts. And then her humorous ones were absolutely hysterical. Like she was like, all I did was type in #funny_mom_memes and they were so funny. I took a picture of them, but they were hysterical. Like she had one that was like, we slinging bottles back at like 3
Something with a crocodile too, with the Crocs. Remember the Croc one? Yeah.
Yes, the Croc shoe and the crocodile mouth, and slinging bottles at like 3 a.m. is cute until you're not one anymore. I don't know. It was just, they were so funny. And she was like, again, you're looking at stuff that you're going to be able to relate, and who are you posting that to? So me as a mom with young kids at home, that's going to be like my type of post is going to be the post where I'm sharing things about chaos and toddlers, and the bottle one was so relatable to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, but Liz is not going to be sharing that because she's in a different stage of her life, but there are so many funny mom memes that would fit with her. So it's like you have that opportunity to share, and then you can create so many conversations from those. She was like, it's like you're inviting somebody to have a conversation with you from that post. So I took a lot away from how she was sharing and the different types of posting. And I think too often I overthink it. But if we just can categorize what we're posting into those 3 types of things, there's so many things in your day-to-day life that just fit right in with that. So it's like, it doesn't have to be overthought. It's just you being authentic and you sharing with a purpose in mind, but it's just your daily life. It's what you know, and you're trying to connect with other people like you. And if you put it in that perspective, I think it becomes less daunting and less overwhelming.
Yes, I agree. And so I typed up the things that like kind of like Genevieve talked about. And so Leslie like just kind of summarize them for you, but if you want to take a picture, I know you can save these that way. And I know that like Allie even taught you guys, if you guys like scan it, you can like just copy and paste it from the screen. But just inspirational, like she said, you're just telling people like, you're not talking about you. You are not the hero. And that's what she kept saying. Like, and she emphasized that all day. This is not about you. When you're posting inspirational stuff, it's not about you being inspiring. It's about you just telling that mom who's struggling with a non-sleeping baby, like, I know you're tired, but you're doing your best. And like, you are doing an amazing job. And so that's like the inspirational type things. When I think inspirational, I also think like sharing your devotions like Allie does with us, sharing your Bible verses, like be inspiring to someone else in their life. Your educational posts, like she said, it's like the prom, it was like set a budget. Prom can be expensive. So, you know, encourage your daughter to look for deals or discounts, or, you know, share Facebook yard sale posts with people who have prom. She's like, just start a conversation with people in a way that you can connect with them. And then here's the humorous ones, right? So she was talking about when a baby drinks a bottle every night to fall asleep, it's cute. But when I do it, I'm an alcoholic. Wow. Just wow. So sick of these double standards. Like you're doing anything. And so I took that and I made that this morning with my post about, you know, all the teachers were in the same boat in May, but guess what? That boat is the Titanic and that's a sinking ship. Right. So all of my teacher friends by like 8 a.m., I had like 20 some laughy emojis on the post. All it gave somebody was a little giggle this morning, right? That's all it was for. It wasn't anything over the top. And so if your kid says something funny, take their picture and post it. Like that's the kind of stuff that people will really enjoy. But when you're bragging that you feel so good because you drink a pink drink, nobody gives a crap, right? So we've just got to kind of tweak our social media so that it's not all about us. And so all I did was head to Pinterest and I literally typed in funny teacher humor or funny teacher memes and just went from there. So you can do that on Facebook. You can do it on Pinterest. I'm sure you could just type it in the Google search bar and find something entertaining for you to share, right? But give them something to let them know that it's not just business. And so, Leslie, you were going to talk about this, right? The prospects.
Yes. So this goes a lot with the posting. Like you're not there to brag. You're not there to be this perfect person, but you really want to be, you want to look for people that are you before you are now, if that makes sense. So she kept saying these things and I wrote down all these like sentence starters, like I have been you, I get you, I can help you. So that's where we have to come across as real humans. We can talk about how great we feel now, but the important thing to let people know is I was you. I was the tired mom that couldn't get off the couch. I was the friend that never wanted to go out because I was too tired or I was too sick or I just didn't feel good. I was the wife that was mean and grumpy and grouchy. Like I get you because I was you. And that's the kind of prospects that you're looking for, is you're looking to connect with people who were you before. And she used things like, I see you struggling. I used to, I invite you, or I can show you how this works. It's really using that kind of verbiage as opposed to just being like, I feel amazing. I'm like the perfect person now. Like people don't relate to that. And it kind of turns them off. Like be real with them and relate to them. You see a mom who's tired, you see a mom that doesn't want, it's struggling or that's stressed out or that's overwhelmed. I was you. I get you. I understand you. I feel you. I can help you. Those types of things. And you want to turn that into hope for these people. And that's how you're connecting with them. And that's how you can really show them there is a better way. And in those conversations, you can explain your story and you can show them, or you can share other people's stories on how that they've been able to change their lives. But you really want to make sure that you're relating back to, you can't, this is where it started. We didn't start perfect. We didn't start feeling great. We are real humans and we can completely relate to you. But I really liked that, all that I have been you, I get you, but I can help you. that verbiage really stuck out with me a lot.
Yeah, I love that. And it was so, and I know she taught this at Jewel School with us too when we were there in November, but I would love for you all to drop in the chat like 2 or 3 adjectives that you felt before you started Plexus. Like, what were the adjectives that you could describe your life with before Plexus? And she even says, y'all, poop is not a red flag word. You can say poop all you want. So if you felt crappy, if you felt poopy, if you pooped too much, if you didn't poop enough, you're not saying constipation, you're not saying IBS, etc. You can say poop all day long. So she was like, say it. I don't care. Use the poop emoji. That's fine. But think of your life before Plexus. I know that mine was exhausting. I was sick. I was tired, right? I like the people who talked about being depleted, right? And she talked about financially being depleted. We can say that, she said. Drained, crappy. What were some of the other like things that she was saying? I took all the notes too. My workbook was full. Hopeless, exhausted, frustrated. You were crabby. You were, let's see. She was like, you know, those days where you don't even want to be around yourself. Like those are the things that you're talking about. Those are the that tell, and those are the things that relate to people. So this is what you want to do. So there you go. Wore out, exhausted, useless. Oh, that's a new one. Let's see, not pooping, miserable, exhausted, grumpy and exhausted, moody. These are what people relate to, right? When you talk about inflammation, she's like, how many even people don't even know what inflammation is? She's like, you talk about inflammation and people have zero clue what you're even talking about. But when you talk about your body aching and you're being, you know, like in pain, or you talk about being miserable, like they relate to those words because that's how they wake up in the morning. And that's what I was thinking. Like when my feet hit the floor before Plexus, what were the thoughts going through my head, right? This sucks. I'm tired. I don't want to do this, right? So think of that person and you're posting to that person right there who doesn't want to get out of bed, who's sick, who's tired, whatever. And just like Andrew said, most people don't even know what digestive issues are, right? They're like, oh, I feel fine. I might have some gas every now and then or bloating, but they probably don't even relate that to digestive issues, right? So you've just got to be specific when you're posting. And this is how we duplicate. You're teaching your friends what you're doing. You're not the message, you're the messenger. You're not the expert, we just refer, and you're not the hero, we're just the guide. So the thing that I like, she said, is I pride myself on being able to help you get your products paid for because I never want finances to get in the way of your health journey. And she says, what's better than free Plexus, right? That's what you tell people. You can say those. So leaders don't want followers. We want other leaders. You want to be able to reach your hand down and show them the way up the mountain, right? So the workbook says your ability to enable a large group of people to do simple tasks daily over a prolonged period of time. That's how you duplicate, right? Teaching them simple things over a long period of time. Okay. So, the foundation of business building, we talk about the 4 pillars, right? We know the 4 pillars: you recruit, you duplicate, you retain, and etc. So this is what she talked about at Gold School is you have to add 3 people to your network every day. We're adding 3 people to our network. Then we're selling to 3 people. This is not enrolling new VIPs. This is selling to people. And this is where my mind was completely blown. And you can ask Leslie and them. I was just like, I wanted to beat my head against the table with her perspective on this, because how many times have we turned people away because they only want a bag of pink drink or they only want active? She's like, guys, it's like a gateway drug. Active is like the gateway drug. And she's like, did I just say drug? I did not mean drug. She's like, it is the gateway product to get them loving other products, right? And when somebody loves a product, what do they want more of, right? They want more of it, right? And so she's like, you have to sell to 3 people. And I don't care if it is a bag of active, it's a bag of pink drink, you get them on something. She's like, 2 points are better than 0, right? 4 points are better than 0. Get the product in their hands. And she's like, guys, sampling works. She was like, why do you think Sam's Club gives you food on a toothpick? Because what do? You try it, you love it, you buy it, right? So she's like, sampling works. So don't quit ever sending samples or letting them just try the bag of active or the bag of pink drink. And I know that like goes back to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're not giving them the triplex. Like the triplex, they have to be on the triplex to see results. How many of you just would like love your active every single day? How many of you just cannot go without ease, right? Yes, we know they work the best together, but it's just like, just get the product in their hands. So that's the selling to 3. And she says, you want to focus on this every single day, whether it's a new person, it's a person already in your virtual office, sell to 3 people. Then you enroll your 3 every single month, you retain your 3, and then you teach someone to go silver, right? And this is basically all of our convention credits, our leaders retreat credits. This is how we build our business right here. So this is nothing new besides I feel like the selling to 3. And it really, when she really like hit on this, it blew my mind, because I've had a lady who wanted a bag of pink drink for like a month, and we were talking welcome packs. She didn't want the welcome pack. And then guess what? She didn't buy anything at all. And so what did I do today? I'm like, hey girl, you ready to buy that bag of pink drink? Right? Like that. Today, the girl on Instagram, she doesn't want the business because she doesn't want to add anything to her plate. Hey, can I send you those drinks? Let me just send you the drinks for you to try. You don't even know if this is something that you want to do, but here, why don't you just try it? Right? So you're just inviting. And she says all of your reach outs should just be an invitation for them to have a conversation with you. And it's fine if they say no, right? So the winning the day IPA, we've went over this before. We know what IPA is, but she just really broke it down piece by piece. Perfection's not the point. We're just trying to be consistent. This will help you duplicate and show up as the pro, and building systems are what lead to success. So she said something to me that really blew my mind. And she said, if somebody asks a question on your team, if everybody on the team does not have the same answer, you don't have a system. And it was just like, we think we have systems, but when Leslie and her girls do it this way, and my girls do it this way, and Andrea girls do it that way, that's not a team system, right? So we're really just going to get on the same page. And then that way, when somebody asks a question, we all have the same answer because we know what to do, right? So Candace brought this up, the 7 steps to a winning day. And I think I put them in there, but they didn't save. So right here they are, the recipes. Sow seeds for later, which was 15 minutes. And I'm going to go over everything, but this is where you're just engaging with people on Facebook. You're liking posts, you're commenting, you're adding new friends, you're following hashtags and just starting conversations. You're telling people happy birthday. Getting noticed by adding value is the 2nd step. That's where you're intentional with your post. You're in your stories, you're going live, you are being relational / connections, right? And she says you don't have to have a relationship to have a connection. If somebody knows who you are, they know what you're about, you have a connection, that's your warm market. It's plain and simple. And then step 3 was introduce people to your plexus vision. So this is where you are inviting them to have a conversation. You're talking about your vision, you're actively searching for people, having different types of communication ways. You're talking to them in text, you're voice messaging, you're, on the phone, you're on the Zoom. Those are the different ways to introduce people to your vision. And she says to go for no 3 times. So each day when you sit down, 3 times, 3 no's. Step 4 was move people to the next step in the relationship. So this is where you're fence setters, you're getting customers, you're getting VIPs, you're showing them how to use their referral link, those things. Step 5 was third-party tools. This is where you're using corporate calls. You're using our book study. You're using the Pink 15s, the opportunity Zooms, any type of company promo or video. If they don't get on, it's fine. That's not the point, right? We know that. We're just inviting. Make it about them. And then that's the validation. That's it. And then step 6 was stay relevant in the news feed. This is your stories. Stories should be like you're talking to your best friend. When you get on the thing, it's like you're calling your best friend, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is what happened today, right? You're talking to them like your friends, okay? And step 7 was duplication. So this is where you're teaching your team your systems. Everything has to be clear. And so it says if somebody joins tomorrow, does the whole team know what the process is, right? Does everybody have that same answer? So that's where she talks about that. So this is where I'm going to kind of break down the winning day for you. It has a lot on this sheet, but it's just because there was a lot of notes that we took. And so I just really wanted to kind of like go over it with you. And Leslie, if you have anything, just pop on. Do you have something to say?
No, well, I had written a note down after that step 7 duplication, because that's where she had talked about, like, when you're trying to duplicate, or even when you are engaging with people, the quote she used was like, don't fish for minnows, fish for the big bass. And she used the analogy of like, if your cousin's sister's boyfriend is getting out of jail and you're like meeting them at the jail with a pink drink ready and being like, hey, you want to join the business? Hey, you want to, like, you're not trying to get every person possible to do the business. Like, you really are looking for those big bass, those people that are going to benefit from the products themselves, but the people that are going to be like, yes, their network is in prison. Like, why are you trying to get them to build a business? Because they're not going to have anybody except everybody that's in prison still. So it was just interesting. Like, don't, just because they're an easy, I don't want to say like target, but like easy enroll, easy person, like, oh, they're like desperate for something, like they're going to do this. That's not the type of people that you want to be investing in when you're trying to do that that duplication part, because it's not going to go anywhere and you're going to spend a lot of time with not a whole lot of progress. So I just felt like that was a good analogy that she gave us.
It's so true. And she was just like, quit going after like the small things. Like, you know what you want. Your vision is bigger than that. So go after bigger things. And she's like, I'm not telling you to not do things that don't feel authentic to you, but getting out of your comfort zone is scary. But we have to do scary things. And she's like, I was scared to fly. She was like, I got a job, I had to travel. And she was like, so guess what I had to do? I had to work through that turbulence. And it's just like, you have to work through the things that are scary. And so you just have to do them. And so the winning.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've never done. And I think that I'm going to change from here on out. So when she was talking about the go for no's, if you get a no, she had in here in the book, she was saying just to be like, hey, no worries. I had to just check. I want to just put this out for you. But our mission is to help people find more health, hope, and happiness. Can I just send you a sample just for your time? And she was saying that's when she was also bringing about like the active is something, send them an active, because that might be that one thing that they didn't know that they needed. And here they have energy, and you just say it's for their time, just for your time talking to me. Thank you. Thank you for getting back to me, that type of thing. Let me just send you a sample. And then, then they have your contact too. And they know that if they do ever want to come and switch and say and transform or whatever, then they're going to reach back out to you.
Yes. I love all this. Like, and it was so good. Basics, like really that I think we forget in this business. Like, we sit down and we just overcomplicate it and we overthink. And it's just, we forget how simple this business truly is. But in that first 15 minutes, you're liking posts, you're commenting, engaging meaningful comments on people's posts. You're following hashtags and you're starting conversations. You're adding new people to your funnel and you're wishing people happy birthday, right? Super simple. That shouldn't even take you 15 minutes. Okay. And then the next 15 minutes, you're being intentional with your Plexus post. She said minimal 1 post a day on your social media. You should have 2 reels a week. And if reels are not your thing, find something else that is your thing. Get inside groups, do something to educate and be on social media, being relevant somehow. And then 1 live a week. So this is where she says, if you are not consistent, you're not reliable. That's how your audience views you. If you're not showing up on social media, they don't think you're reliable. So you need to be regular and you need to be intentional with your posting. And like I said, your story should be like you're talking to your friends. Think about why people follow you. Post to the people that we talked about with the 3 types of posts. That's your next 15 minutes. And if you're batching content and you're coming up with posts and you're saving them, that shouldn't even take you 15 minutes. Going for no, we talked about that. Trusting the system. She said 60 days, do it 5 days a week. She says, I don't even you don't even have to do it 6 days. She was like, if you just do it 5 days a week and you go for 3 no's a day, she's like, I guarantee that your business will explode. And so this is where you're just inviting them for a conversation. And then quit avoiding the no. And then when people tell you no, it's not always no. It's just an introduction. How many of you do not say yes the first time somebody asks you for something, right? It takes a few times. Maybe you have to warm up to the idea. So don't be so hard on yourself when somebody tells you no. And like Liz says, send them a sample. And I told you that's a warm connection. If somebody knows who you are and they are connected with you on social media, that is a warm market. That is not a cold reach out. A cold reach out is I add Liz as a friend on Facebook and I immediately go message her, right? So think of why maybe they said no, right? And figure out a way to connect with them on another level. And she said, events is the next part. And so you are, the next part is fence setters, retail customers, and your VIPs. Okay. That's where you are talking to people who are, maybe on the fence about starting, who maybe need a little bit of third-party validation. Maybe they need an invite to an event. This is that 60 minutes, let's make money part. Okay. Where you're starting conversations, you're following up with people, you're talking to customers about sharing with their referral link, etc. When you're inviting to events, the point of the invite is not for them to join. She's like, I don't care if they get on your Zoom call. I don't care if they are in the chat. She's like, the point is, just like we tell you all, it's an excuse to reach out. It's another touch point. It keeps you relevant. Okay. It keeps you on their mind. So when they do wake up finally feeling exhausted and tired, or they want to lose weight, they think of you. And she said, stop waiting until they're drowning for you to save them. Reach out in a way that evokes emotion and throw them the life jacket. You're the lifeguard. Save them from what they're going through. And so I loved all that. And she was like, I don't care if they're building a business or not. You are missing a huge boat if you're not inviting them to convention, because it's a fun girls' weekend, right? Some women just want that connection. They just want a community. They just want friendships. Invite them to the book studies, like get them involved in your community somehow. And so all of this was so good just to have that refresher, right? So just doing, like she said, the IPA cruise, the cruise IPA, do this winning day. sit down, break it apart. And she says it needs to be strategic. This is the recipe. And she says the recipe, it's just like making brownies. You can't do one thing and not the other step. You have to do all the steps and they need to be in order. So she says that's why this sheet is put together just like this, right? That's probably why the cruise IPA is put together like that. It's a recipe for success and you have to do all the steps, because she's like, when your teammate who's trying to go gold brings you sludge, you can say, oh, well, you're skipping step 4 and 5. You went from step 3 to step 7, right? You've got to be able to help them understand each part, why it's important and how it can be simple. Okay. So follow the steps, don't get sludge, bake brownies. That's what she was saying. Okay. So do you guys have it? Oh, one thing, sorry. Tweaks in your conversations. This was really like kind of eye-opening to me too. She's like, quit saying, I'd love to have you join, or I'd love to have you do this with me, or I'd love. She's like, when you say I'd love, you're making it all about you. Again, we're not the hero and this is not about us. It's about them. So you're saying things like, you might want to know, or you are going to love, or you would love, like, come to this Zoom because you would love to hear Leslie's story. I know that you would benefit from this pink drink because, right? So switching it, and she's like, it's okay. Tell him it's okay to start like as a skeptic. I was a skeptic, right? So it's okay to validate how they're feeling, but just take you out of the conversation. But I kind of condensed these. There was a lot of different scripts in here, but these are the ones that I felt like we could really adjust. And so it says, I saw your post the other day about you not feeling your best, and I wanted to reach out to you because I've heard the same story so many times. My friend or I had the same issue, and I wanted to connect and share what we did to handle that and help get your life back. So you're just reaching out because you saw them post about something. The next one says, your post the other day about wanting more time with your kiddos reminded me of my friend Leslie's story. I know we have talked about the plexus. I know we have never talked about the plexus opportunity, but friend, you need to hear the whole story and decide if this might be a fit for you like it was for Leslie or I. We can have a quick chat and you can check it out for yourself and decide if this would be a good fit. Would you be open to a conversation? Again, you're telling them about your story, about your friend Leslie's story. You're relating it to somebody else. And then you're asking them if they're open for a conversation. That's all you're doing. Get them to coffee, take them to lunch. You know, that's what she said. Get belly to belly with them. And then like Liz said, she already talked about that one. No worries. I had to check since our mission is to help people with health, hope, and happiness. I wanted to offer you a sample as a gift, but I don't know if you really have a need or not. What are your thoughts about hearing how we help moms fall back in love with themselves and their lives? Like, I think just really making it about them is where maybe we could slightly be missing out with some of the conversations that and the messages that we've been sending. And so I think a small tweak would be so good. And so I am going to start offering more samples again. I've been sending samples to all of my new VIPs that I add. If they don't get hydrate, I'm sending them a hydrate. If they don't get active, I've been sending them an active with my thank you card for them joining me. But I'm definitely going to go back to offering more samples more often. And so I think these are some great things that we can, I know, right? Like how many moms like hate their lives or hate themselves, or, you know, hate the things that they're experiencing, especially as a new mom, right? So just relating to them where they are and relating to them of how you felt before plexus. Okay. So does anybody have any questions or anything else to add?
If you haven't seen the new, it's like a reel or a video, or I don't know what it is, but it's like the moms with the flamingo shirts, and it's like, get your pink back. And the whole reel, I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be like a Plexus commercial, but it's all these new moms and they're like in tears and all this stuff. And then they're like, you lose so much of who you are, but you will get it back. You will get your pink back. And it's a flamingo. And it's like with the flamingos can stand on one foot and how do they balance and do all this stuff. But it's interesting that that's kind of the approach that they were taking with Gold School and how to reach out to people. And it's just reaching out genuinely, but just showing them like you can get back who you once were. Like we can help you, all that. It was just really interesting. So if you haven't seen this flamingo reel thing, whatever it is floating around, just look for it because it's super relatable. And it was just funny because it was all about get your pink back. I was like, oh, well, I got pink for you.
I love it. Well, that's all we had. Andrea, if you want to pop on.
Yeah,
That was
thank you guys so
awesome.
much. I loved all of this. And sorry, I'm just kidding. But truly, I loved all of this. You guys, we are in the process of just revamping, updating our onboarding systems because I know there are so many new people and so many people that have been with us. And since the last time that we have really like dove into our onboarding system, messaging, all of these things. And when Brenda was at Gold School, she was like, said the same thing. Like if one person says something different, or if the whole team can't say the same thing, like that's an issue. And I'm like, okay, like, let's get back in alignment with everything. And so anyways, be looking for Consistency Club. I did bump it back a week just because I felt like that since the girls went to Gold School, that there were probably some really good nuggets to implement from Gold School. And so we are going to brainstorm, and you will want to be in this Consistency Club, whether you are Sapphire, whether you are Emerald, or whether you are a brand spanking new ambassador. It does not matter. It is for everyone. And we will be teaching this revamped onboarding, new messaging. You guys are going to love it. So like I said, it will start next Monday. And then also too this week on Thursday, we have the reset group that Ali is running. It's an info group. And so if you guys have had anybody to do a reset, if you have done a reset, if you just got done doing a reset, if you're in this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have people who are in there invite their friends to this reset. Okay. Because Ali's going to be talking about information. It's a great way to funnel people in after their excitement, and to get their friends to do this. So this is basically a way for them to duplicate, get them silver quickly. Here's the thing, if they are having awesome success on the reset, they're going to want to share. And this is going to be your great in. You can literally just say like, I know you love the reset so much. We have an info group being held on Thursday night. Who can you invite? Because I know you love the way you feel. Who else do you know that could benefit from this? And just simply help them think of some friends, and just all it is quick information. You never know. And then also that night, we're having a Mother's Day event. It's going to be just basically talking about energy, mood, skincare, just basically like that last message, like how to get moms feeling like themselves again. And so it'll be geared towards moms. I will have example messages ready to go. But honestly, you guys, just go in and grab an old example message, tweak it. You trust yourself, voice message. That's the biggest thing. Don't even worry about a message. Just if you know a mom that is like struggling, or you know a mom that just had a baby, or you know a mom that has teenagers, whatever it may be, just simply voice message and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. We're having an event this Thursday at 9:00. It's super quick because I know evenings are sacred, but I just wanted to message you because I thought of you. I know that you're chasing babies like I am, and come hear how this can, I don't know, just I don't know, whatever you think, just put it in.
Add something to that really quick.
Yeah.
Yet. She was talking about the voice messaging being so good because you can message somebody, and if they have a bad day, they read that tone, like your tone, your text, in a negative way because they had a bad day. But if you say it and they've had a good day, it's in a positive tone, right? But if they hear your voice, it changes everything because it's how you are approaching it, and they can actually hear it in your tone, right? So it's just to be careful of the tone that you use in text, because like I said, if they've had a bad day, of course they're going to read that in a very like negative, snippy way, right? So it's just to be aware of that.
Yeah, that's such a good tip. I mean, and it's easier to voice message anyways. I mean, you can just voice message and be done. But like Brina said, or Allie said, there's 2 events going on at 9:00. Just pick which one will be best fitted for the person that you're inviting. And like, let's just blow these events up. And it's a touch. Like I have a mom in mind who I really want to work the business, and I'm going to go message her and say, hey, like, let me send you a quick, I can get out a sample tomorrow. Let me send you a sample of the active and the pink drink for you to try. Come join our event on Thursday. Like you guys could even do something like that. Like, hey, here's an active and a pink drink, something that makes me feel so good every single day. We're having like, an event geared towards mom's wellness, products, whatever. I'm going to send it to you. Come join our event on Thursday. Just get creative, be you. Don't overthink the voice message. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be way more genuine than a copy and paste message or a perfect message, which there's no such thing. So anyways, thank you guys so much for training. This was amazing. And we will see y'all next Monday. Bye.